All right, 8.3. Define and use zero and negative exponents. So obviously to this point, we've been dealing with like a number that's raised to a power raised to another power. We've had a number raised to a power times that same number raised to another power where we were adding our exponents together. We did, what was it, dividing, what was it called? What did they call that? Quotients, where we were moving basically from the bottom to the top by subtracting the exponents. So now we're going to get into what happens if an exponent is 0 or if it's negative. And it'll be like a little bit of other stuff that comes in here where it's not necessarily written as negative, but kind of like what happens. So anyways, defining, or what is happening? Come on. So the definition of 0 and negative exponents. So a raised to the 0 is equal to 1. Assuming a is not equal to 0, that's a whole other thing if that ever happens. It's like a calculus thing. Anyways, so any number raised to the 0 is equal to 1. So 1,000 raised to the 0 is 1. Negative 50 raised to the 0 is 1. It does not matter what the number is. If it is ever raised to the 0 power, you put 1. I can pretty much guarantee on your quiz, there will be a problem that is a number raised to the 0. So give me all the points. It equals 1. Okay? Nice and easy. It's the easiest rule. So then we also have a to the negative n is equal to 1 over a to the n. And I'll have a special little catchphrase for that in just a second. Now, if n is positive, but I want to rewrite it, then a to the n is also equal to 1 over a to the negative n. Again, assuming a is not equal to 0. So, y'all probably at least kind of know who Mr. Cass is, right? He's the guy that does the car line out front in the mornings. He's at the corner for car line.
Yeah.
Can I get like a face?
See, he's the old man. He's the old man with the cane that always goes.
It's the one that waves the cars around.
Oh, it is right there.
I'm guessing he died in the morning.
There's 2 cars in that. Yes.
Anyways, okay. So this is actually his catchphrase that he said. And your English teachers are going to hate my phrase, but I use it because it helps you remember. The catchphrase for negative exponents is put it where it ain't. Make it positive. So obviously ain't's not a real word, but it'll help you remember it.
Ain't a real word. Google understands it. Ain't a real word.
Most all of us understand it. It's just not a real word.
Should make it a real
I
word.
found it in the dictionary.
What
We did
dictionary
it.
did you
The
find?
dictionary is a real word, meaning
Give
sigma technically is a real word to meaning.
Exactly.
It was all right there.
Do you not think they wrote the Bible in like
So is Spanish sex.
independent?
Really?
Jug, we did the
Really?
we did the above. Is that how the first phrase goes? Grace.
I'm tired of touching your feet.
So the other way, I don't know if it's really going to come up in this section. It probably isn't, so I'm not even going to say it. Yeah, I'm not even going to say it. All right, just since it's been a few days since we did our other properties of exponents, I'm just going to quickly put them put them back up here so that we have them to review because it'll come into play with this section again as well. So just a review from the first two sections. A to the m times a to the n equals a to the m plus n. Are we ready for a quiz? Because I'm literally about to hand one out. You're not even taking notes.
Bro.
Do I need to send a note home?
No, I left my notebook at home.
Yeah, I can get
You
it
don't
on
have
paper.
any other paper or
Over here.
anything.
Stop
Look.
lollygag.
Yeah,
You need
I
a
do.
paper.
Paper in
I
there.
have
Do you need it?
I have
You need some.
And if you don't have something to write it down, that doesn't mean your mouth is open. A to the m raised to the n is equal to a to the m times n. If I have a times b raised to the m, remember we distribute that on both things. This would be a to the m, b to the m. Because they're different bases, we can't combine them any more than that. Then the one that we got, those were all from 8.1. The ones we got in 8.2 were a to the m over a to the n is equal to a to the m minus n. So this is a form of the one that we're getting now of the put it where it ain't, make it positive. This is where we were having those issues the other day on that worksheet for those of you that were attempting it. And then we had a over b raised to the m is equal to a to the m over b to the m. So basically, anytime I have a negative exponent, I'm going to flip the stuff and put it basically on the opposite, either top or bottom of where it is. So if the negative exponent's on top, it's going to become on the move to the bottom of the fraction, and it's going to be positive. If it's on the bottom where it's negative, then I'm going to move it to the top and make it positive. So, let's see. Evaluate the expression. So, number 4, I have 7 raised to the negative 3. So that negative 3, the negative is going to tell me I need to flip this to the bottom. So this is going to become 1 over 7 to the 3rd. So I put it where it ain't, and move it to the bottom, and we make it positive. And so we add the 3. Or like make it a positive 3. Now, what is 7 cubed?
343.
343, so this would be 1 over 343.
I did the math earlier, okay? No, you didn't check.
That particular 7 cubed, for some reason, is like a very popular number in the Algebra 1 book. The first time I was like teaching Algebra 1, it just like kept popping up, and it was not one that I just like knew off the top of my head. Anyways, it's ingrained now because of how many times I used it. So that'll probably become a relatively popular one that you'll start seeing a lot in the next few sections. Number 6, I've got negative 2 raised to the negative 6. So, again, I've got that negative exponent. Notice the negative 2, the negative is in parentheses, so it's going to go with it. So this is going to become 1 over, in parentheses, negative 2, raised to the positive 6. Now I have a negative raised to an even exponent, so is this going to be a positive or negative final answer?
Positive.
Positive. And what is 2 raised to the 6th?
64, I think.
Yeah. So 1 over 64 is the answer to that one. Eight. Negative 4 raised to the 0 is what?
1.
1. How about in parentheses negative 9 over 16 raised to the 0?
1 over 1.
1.
It's just 1. Yeah, it's just 1.
Yep, it's in parentheses, so the whole thing is just 1.
I love 0. 0 is my favorite number now.
And I can guarantee on the quiz you are going to have one that's like that.
2,586,286,280. Just to make the whole quiz.
One time I gave one that was like pi raised to the 0. And like a whole bunch of people got super confused. I was like, pi is just a number. Anything raised to the 0, it doesn't matter. X raised to the 0 is just 1. It don't matter. But it like threw them off.
So I could put like the word chair to the 0 and it'd be 1.
Yes.
Sigma to the 0 is 1. Hey.
It's actually a math thing, but okay. All right, so there's a couple different ways I can think about this problem. I would say the easiest for right now is for us to distribute that -3 exponent to both things like we were doing in 8.2, where we're going to write this as 4 to the -3 over 3 to the -3. Okay, if you end up asking somebody in high school for assistance with this section at any point, if you get stuck on a problem, that's probably not the order that they're going to tell you to do this in, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same final answer. I'll show you the other way that you can do it in a second, but we're going to work this way. So now, these both have negative exponents on them, okay? So I'm going to have to flip them over. So this is going to become 3 cubed over 4 cubed. Okay, so notice they both had to flip across. So basically I moved the 4 to the -3 to the bottom and made that 4 cubed. And then I just at the same time moved the 3 to the -3 to the top to make it 3 cubed. What is 3 cubed?
27.
And what's 4 cubed?
64.
So 27 over 64. Now, the other way that we could have done this problem, which I was going to say if you ask any of the high schoolers, probably specifically if you ask some of my juniors or seniors, they may tell you instead, and it's the same thing, but as soon as I see a negative exponent outside the parentheses on a fraction, is flip the fraction and rewrite this as 3 over 4 cubed. If you like this method, you can do this method instead. It's up to you. Then we would distribute it and get 3 cubed over 4 cubed and then get 27 over 64. So we ultimately get to the same final answer. It's just a different way to write it and go about it. Totally up to you how you want to do it. I don't care. Trick question.
For a second, I thought you were going to draw a smiley face. Because your arrow looked like a
Oh.
smiley.
I thought it was a smiley face.
I mean, that looks like a possessed smile.
Yeah, I was like, what's the smiley face?
It's a creepy smiley face. All right.
Down in my basement.
Oh.
0 raised to the -2.
0.
No.
-0.
1.
0 is not positive or negative. It's not raised to the 0. Okay?
Mango.
What does a negative exponent tell me to do?
1 over 0 to -2.
And when I move it, it changes it to a positive exponent. This would be 1 over 0 squared. What happens if I divide by 0?
You
Water.
get.
It's a special name.
H2O.
What?
No, that's
Undefined. This is undefined. We can never, ever, ever divide by 0.
See, guys, I was testing you guys.
Okay, it was a trick question.
You're barely even taking up a video.
That's what we said on the board. I was testing you guys. Sure you were.
You're barely taking notes. I am.
I forgot.
Now-
Now, if it was just instead, if this was 0 squared, what would that be? What's 0 times 0? 0. Okay.
You say
Don't
undefined.
go there.
Because
She's clearly
0 on the bottom is undefined. 0 on the top is just 0.
I just gotta flip it
2
around.
oxygen molecules equals 1 oxygen molecule.
Those things are not equal, but okay. 16. 7 to the -6 times 7 to the 4th. If they give them to you like this, we're going to use the exponent rules from section 1 first. Then we're going to move into the stuff from this section if the final is negative. Okay? So this is where I said if you're struggling with positives and negatives, this is going to start to be a problem. So you're going to really want to make sure you get these in before we take the quiz or the test, okay? So when I multiply two things with the same base, I add their exponents. So this is going to be 7 to the negative 6 plus 4. Negative 6 plus 4 is what?
2.
Negative 2. So 7 to the negative 2. Now, this is where this section comes in. What does that negative 2 tell me to do?
Put 1 over it and make it positive.
Put 1 over it and make it positive. So 1 over 7 squared, which is
21.
1 over 49.
1 over 49. 7 squared is 7 times 7.
All I heard is
I think you say 21.
Oh yeah, I think I heard.
brain
Yeah,
does
yeah,
not
yeah.
work
Yeah,
that
Mingle,
fast.
mingle. All I heard was 21.
My brain does not work that fast. I need to write it down.
Why'd you say 21?
Who said it was
And
music?
then I squared is not
I thought it was Jonathan. I was like,
Thanks
wait.
for giving me credit that I can do math that fast.
Is it really already
But
2?
it was wrong, though.
Anybody can do math
Doesn't
that fast.
matter, right? I did math fast.
Anybody can do
Bye.
math
I
that fast.
I feel like this
as long
class
as
is
you guess.
flying by.
It's like guess.
I don't even feel like we did anything. 18. 3 to the negative 2, all squared.
Multiplication time. You say 1 times 0?
Yep, we multiply, so I have a exponent raised to an exponent, so I multiply. So this would be 3 to the negative 4. What does that mean?
You guys, 1 positive.
1 over 3 to the 4th, which is
256.
What the fuck?
no.
It's a guess.
What's 3 times 3?
9.
Oh, 81.
81.
Okay, so look, I've got, that's 3 squared and 3 squared. That's 9 times 9 is 81, so 1 over 81.
You're welcome, I love you.
What do you mean?
20.
36, Grace. I don't know, dude.
1 over 6 to the negative 2. This one's a little different. What's different about this problem?
It's
Both
fraction.
It's already in a fraction. The exponent that's negative is on the bottom. Okay? So I need to move it to the top. Put it where it ain't. Make it positive. I'm moving it bottom to top. So this one just becomes 6 squared, which is
36.
36.
Well, that was easy.
Is it gonna be 12?
I'm like, well, that was easy. Buster.
No, I didn't get it.
22. 6 to the negative 3 over 6 to the negative 5.
Guys,
What
I have
in
an
the
idea.
world?
We subtract.
Do not say
How do you feel
I have
about
an idea. We subtract.
Sort of. Now, what's different about...
Make it positive.
What's different about this problem?
You're negative.
There's
Both
two
negative and a
exponents.
fraction.
They're two exponents. They're both different and they're both negative. Okay, so the general rule is whatever the bigger negative is, we want to move that one to the smaller negative. So what's the bigger negative here?
Negative 3.
Oh yeah, negative.
Negative 5 is the bigger negative. Okay, the most negative. So we put it where it ain't. We make it positive. So this becomes 6 to the negative 3 plus 5. Okay, we put it where it ain't and we make it positive. So I'm moving this one up here by changing the sign. So this becomes 6 squared, which again is 36.
36.
Apparently that's a common one today
You're
too.
welcome, Justin.
Bro, wait, how is
24.
Does this?
16 times 2 to the negative 3 over 2 squared.
Okay, guys, we do a bit of subtraction.
How do you gonna start?
multiplication?
No, she said no.
Oh shoot, I stopped paying.
I have a number raised to a negative exponent. What do I always do first?
Put it where it ain't.
You gotta
Put it where it ain't, make it positive. That 16 outside the parentheses is going to stay there times 1 over 2 squared plus 3. So this is going to be 16 over 2 to the 5th. What's 2 to the 5th?
32.
32. So this is 16 over 32, which reduces to
Two.
1/2.
1/2.
You're a little late.
Bro.
Just a little bit.
It's 1/2 past
Just like after the teacher said.
Try to figure it out.
All right, another kind of trick question here. 26. 3 to the negative 2 times 5 over 7 raised to the 0.
1.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, yeah, it's 1. It's 1.
Just
Just
5.
Okay, so the 7 to the 0 is 1, so that just becomes 5. So this is times 5 because this is a 1. What about that 3 to the negative 2?
We gotta put it where it ain't.
So that becomes 1 over 3 squared. What's 3 squared?
9.
So this is 1 over 9 times 5, so that's equal to
5 over 9.
5 over 9.
That's all simple.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you problems to go with this because we're not done with this section, but unless I'm going crazy, class ends in like 5 minutes. I don't even know how that's possible, but anyways.
We spent like the first half grading tests.
And pie.
Doing pie.
So anyways, tomorrow we'll finish up this section.
Yeah.
That worksheet that I gave you the other day, if you already have it, you need to bring it back with you. If you didn't get it the other day, I'm going to give it to you tomorrow, and you're going to have some of those to do as well as some problems out of the book. And then on Wednesday, we'll do 8.4, and then Thursday review, quiz on Friday. So problems are 3 through 25 odd.